What up, peeps? Today I thought it would be fun to take a look at what I consider to be my most crazy, my best video game related score ever at a Goodwill or a thrift store. And that just so happens to be my Star Fox watch right here. It has all the original packaging, all the original stuff that came with it. And this thing is super, super cool. I found this at a Goodwill in McMinnville, Oregon. I was actually out there with my girlfriend Abby and her mom, and typically the one place that I don't ever check when I go to a thrift store or to Goodwill is like the jewelry glass case. Some Goodwills don't even have like an electronics glass case anymore, but typically the ones that do, it is separated from all the jewelry and that kind of stuff. It's like they might be next to each other, but they keep them separate. So typically I don't look at that portion of the store, but ever since I found this, I have tried to make it a point to do so because that is where this watch was located. I actually was not even the one that saw this because, like I said, I never looked there. Abby's mom pointed this out. She's like, hey, there's some Nintendo watch in here. And I was like, what? And even then, just thinking maybe it was, you know, there's a bunch of different little like LCD games like this that are in watch form. And I thought it was just going to be like some random one, something still cool, but I didn't think it was going to be this cool. And I saw it, and it had a price tag right on the top here that said $5. And this was in Oregon, so there was no sales tax. And I took a picture of it after buying it, just holding it in the parking lot like this. I took a photo, posted that on my Instagram, and it was very quickly one of like my most liked photos ever. And people got a kick out of seeing that $4.99 price tag on the top, which I always thought was very cool as well. Unfortunately, I do not have the battery required to power this thing on. I'd love to show you guys, you know, how it plays and everything, but I just don't have the battery, unfortunately. In doing some research on this thing, I have found out that in 1994, Nintendo teamed up with Kellogg's to promote, to promote Star Fox, and they hired some other company that made watches to make this little keychain or watch game, and you had to purchase, I think it was 2 boxes of the Kellogg's Corn Flakes breakfast cereal, and then you would send in the little little cutout things from the box. You would send in both of them, and you could acquire this watch that way. And from what I read, you could also later purchase this watch in stores, but initially going through Kellogg's and buying the cereal and sending it in was the only way to get it. I don't know what the retail price was when it eventually went to, you know, regular retail stores. But yeah, it's extremely cool to have the original packaging, the original like plastic. I don't even know if you want to call it a box. It's like a case, but the whole thing closes like that. It's got an old UPC sticker on the bottom there. There's nothing on the outside to tell you what it is. It's got a SKU number, manufacturer number on the sticker, but it doesn't say anything. And then right up here, it says box made in Canada, which is weird. But other than that, there's no markings on the outside. But once you open it, you get all the awesome artwork. And I'm going to take some close-ups of this thing so you guys can see, but it's got the original like earbuds in there. And obviously it's got the watch, the little thing that holds the watch in place, the red lining in the bottom. All the paper artwork and everything is still intact, which is super, super cool. And yeah, I love this thing. This is one of my favorite memories of hunting at Goodwill. That was at a point when I wasn't necessarily looking for video game stuff very much. I've always sold on eBay and Amazon, and that was primarily what I was looking for at Goodwill, because it's been many, many years since you could walk into Goodwill and find retro video game stuff. It just doesn't really happen that often anymore, and this is something that I would expect. This was a few years ago that I got this, but even if I saw this thing in a Goodwill now, I would still be extremely surprised. I would think that this is the kind of item that any employee would kind of look at this and be like, well, that is kind of something special. So this kind of stuff usually gets sold in their online thing on Shop Goodwill or something else. So I think I got really, really lucky. Not only was it cheap, $5, you can't really beat that, but also it had everything with it still, which is incredible to me. And it's one of my favorite little like Goodwill collecting stories that I have for you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed that little story. I thought that it would just be interesting to share. like I said, it's one of my favorite memories with, you know, hunting at Goodwill, and the fact that I was there with my girlfriend and her mom, that made it even cooler. It wasn't just me by myself. And then, you know, with the $5 price tag that was on there being in the photo that I posted on Instagram, that made it kind of special too, because people were surprised that it was there, just as I was. Like I said, this kind of stuff normally would not be at a Goodwill, and I got extremely lucky that day. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time.